The Wine Investment Fund Canada Limited has as its investment manager or sub-investment manager Imperial Capital Limited, which is a asset holding or investment management company in the UK, based in London. The Imperial Capital Limited has two directors and founding partners, which are Andrew Della Casa and myself, Rodney Birrell. We have also on team two extraordinarily talented investment advisors or wine people. One is William Gray, and William Gray came from John Armitt, and we're thrilled to have him because he has a phenomenal knowledge of Bordeaux wines, as well as not just the wines themselves, but the individuals who own the vineyards and the individuals who are negociants, who work for negociants. And so you can always get much more color in what is going to be a good wine or a bad wine. Of course, everybody reads the pundits, but they normally speak about the very, very top-end wines. And we found that since we've been in business, that the triangle of Bordeaux's that become investment grade is expanding. So in other words, originally it might have been like this, and now it's becoming like that, which means in the last 6 years, wines that perhaps in 2003 would not have been investment grade are now becoming investment grade. And we're dipping our toes into these particular wines. Now, don't forget, we still only invest in between 5 and 8% of the Bordeaux market, which in itself is a $4 billion market per year. But so there's a lot of scope in there, but we found that William is extremely knowledgeable in dealing with the perhaps the lesser known wines that have now become investment grade. And our other investment guru is a man called Chris Smith. And Chris Smith is very interesting because he comes from two completely different fields, both of which are extremely positive for the Wine Investment Fund Canada Limited, in that he's run a wine fund for a number of years and has done so extremely successfully, but he also worked for the Financial Services Authority of the UK, which is like saying that he worked for the Ontario Securities Commission. And so therefore, he knows all the regulatory aspects of the industry as well and what is possible, because after all, in the end, these are funds. And although the underlying asset may be fine wine, they are run and operated and are treated exactly like any other investment fund. It could be equities, it could be debt securities, it could be anything, but this is a specific fund that with an underlying asset of fine wine. And so Chris is able to bring his knowledge of how to deal with the regulations or how to deal with the FSA and how to negotiate with the FSA, because fine wine obviously is not a generic investment. It is an investment where people know what the asset class is, but aren't quite sure how to value it or are not quite sure whether it is an appropriate investment vehicle. And the fact that Bloomberg now has LiveX 100 as a fine wine index listed, and now that we have Chris Smith on board from the FSA, indicates to all our investors that this truly is a serious wine fund, or is a serious fund who, as I mentioned, its underlying asset just so happens to be fine wine. And now that we've reached two benchmarks, one of which is the fact that the wine fund, now the umbrella wine fund in the UK, has grown to $75 million, and that it has a track record of over 5 years with a payout of over 100% in that 5 years, indicates that the fine wine market is now maturing, and funds such as the Wine Investment Fund Canada Limited can be perceived as being a truly viable investment fund and an alternate investment fund at that.